Hello, welcome back to my channel and to today's video where I'm going to be taking a look back at my purchases from 2024, and I have selected 10 which I'm just really glad that I spent my money on. And I've got a range of different things from lifestyle and experience to fashion and beauty. So in no particular order, I'm going to start off with number one, which was a cinema membership. Now this is something that we've carried through to this year. We pay for it monthly. Our particular cinema offers a membership of $15.99 each per month, and it's just a rolling sort of contract. We don't have to sign up to a year, we can cancel it whenever we want. But we've had our membership since June 2024. We signed up and decided to just go for it when it was the release of Inside Out 2. That was the first film we saw. And since then on my phone, I've kept a list of all of the films that we've been to see. So in a total of our 7-month membership so far, we saw 40 films. Now a couple of those are duplicates. For example, I went to see Moana 2 twice. I also saw It Ends With Us twice. And there's also a couple of films, Simon and I mainly go together, but there's a couple of films where when I was away, Simon went to the cinema and took himself, and there's a couple where I've been to see films on my own as well. Now, I've worked out that that is £2.79 each per film for all of those 40 films that we've seen. And I mean, you guys know how much it costs to go to the cinema these days. Now, we do have a target for this year. We would like to see 100 films this year. We're actually off to a bit of a slow start. I think we've seen 2 so far, Nosferatu and Baby Girl. And yeah, that's where we're up to thus far for mid-January. It's been a bit of a slow start to the year, but we're hoping that things will pick up, and there's some really good releases coming to the big screen this year, so we're excited for all of those. Moving on to number 2, and it is this little device. This is the UFO 3 by FOREO Sweden, along with the matching face masks. I say matching, they're face mask designed to be used with this device. Now, full disclosure, because this does kind of go against the title of this video, I did not purchase this product. It was given to me as part of a collaboration from last year. I think we did 2 collaborations with Forio around the UFO 3 last year. However, I have bought multiple different variations, different options of the masks myself, and have continued to buy them, because if I'd have ever actually had the chance to use one of these before being given it or before even purchasing, it would have 100% been something that I would have purchased myself. So I'll be turning 40 this year, or as the lady that did my eye test said to me the other day, you're going into your 4th decade of life. I was like, great. My 4th decade. Doesn't actually sound very much, does it, when you put it that way? But yes, I'm going to be turning 40 this year. And my skincare routine very much reflects that. So it's primarily focused on anti-aging, which I think is probably a bit of a given that age. It's definitely late 30s, mid to late 30s is an age where you do start to focus a little bit more on anti-aging, if not before going into 30s, or at least preventative measures. So I actually use some products on my skin which could be deemed as being a little bit harsh, retinol for example, and that can dry out the skin. Enter the UFO 3, which is a deep hydration device, and use it in conjunction with the masks. There's lots of different masks to choose from, but because it adds that deep hydration, it basically counteracts the effect of some of the harsher products that I'm using on my skin. Not only that, but it's actually in itself clinically proven to reduce the appearance of wrinkles within 1 week. Now, one thing that I've mentioned before when talking about the UFO 3 is that you can complete a treatment. So by using one of these little masks, you can complete one of those treatments in 2 minutes. So it's not something that's super time consuming. In just 2 minutes, you can increase your skin's moisture by 126%, which is mind-blowing. Now, as I've mentioned, there are many different treatment masks that you can use with the UFO3. So I've got my 3 personal favourites here. H2 Overdose, I've spoken about that one a lot. That is a very firm favourite. Then last year I was introduced to coconut oil. That one I do like, but I don't use it as frequently as the H2 Overdose because, as the name would suggest, it's very hydrating. It's also nice and lightweight, which I very much appreciate. And then finally, Youth Junkie, for obvious reasons. Now, I have actually just ordered another one online, which is called Shimmer Freak, and that has a little bit of shimmer in it. So I haven't tried that one yet, so I can't really comment on how good it is and how subtle the shimmer is. I'm hoping it will just give me a bit of a glow, but I'm going to try one of those masks because I just ordered a small set, and then if I like them, I buy more. So I'm going to try one of those and see how I like it, and then I'll probably save those for summer, and that's the time of year where I don't really wear much on my skin at all, not in the way of makeup anyway. I just wear a really good strong SPF, so I'm hoping that I can have that I've just said it again, initial what's wrong with me today? I'm hoping I can have that initial shimmer on my skin and then add my SPF on the top, and I'm hoping that shimmer will still kind of come through. So if you are looking to add something new, perhaps to a new year, new you skincare routine that's going to add some real deep hydration and reduce the appearance of any wrinkles that are either already existing or maybe creeping into whatever decade you are approaching this year of your life, then we do have an offer discount code which we will display on screen now, and we will also pop all the details down below in the description box along with a link to buy, or maybe you just want to browse and find out more information. On to number 3 now, and it is the Dyson AIRWRAP. Now, I am very, very late to the Dyson AIRWRAP party, probably like 2 or 3 years late. I don't actually know when this was released, and I'd never actually seen one of these used until I went to Blue Water, and there was a little Dyson area and I saw one it wasn't even being demonstrated. I think they just plucked someone as they were walking past, and you can just go and have a go with them, and someone was styling this woman's hair, and I watched for a moment and I was like, wow, what is that magic? So when I got home, I went online, Googled them, saw how much they were, and was like, hell no, almost £500. Sorry, but it is just a hairdryer and a hairstyler. I say that sat here as someone that has bought one for almost £500. Anyway, I sat on it for a while, and then because the internet and our phones pick up things and they know what we're into, of course I started seeing more things about the Dyson AIRWRAP. As advertising is advertising, it worked a treat, and I eventually bought one. Now, I bought mine from Boots, so I was able to use some of my Advantage card points that I had been saving for about 2 years. And so I was able to get a tiny bit of discount. I think it was about 30 quid's worth of discount that I got off mine, but it was £479.99. Now, mine is the long hair version because I bought this, I think it was in September last year, and I bought it when I had long hair because I've only just recently had my hair cut into this long bob. But I don't think the long hair version is detrimental or doesn't perform equally as well on shorter hair. So, you know, I think having a long hair version is good if I ever went back to having long hair again, but it's also good if I have shorter hair, like now. Next up is Longchamp Le Pliage bags, of which I bought 5 of in 2024. So I now have 4 of the large shoulder bag, which is this one I have here. This is the black one, which I bought maybe early December. Actually, no, it wasn't early December, it was mid-December, because I bought this from the airport when I was on my way to my first solo Disney Paris trip. So I have 4 of the large shoulder bag, tote, whatever you want to call them, and I have 1 travel bag. I know that's quite a lot of the same, essentially the exact same bag, but in various colours, obviously that's what I've bought. to buy in just 1 year, but that is how much I love them. Yes, I love these bags, worth every single penny. And actually, speaking of pennies, they're not pennies, but there's quite a lot of pennies. They're £120 each, but I think that's actually really good value for money. And I know they're only made of this like nylon-y canvas, but there is a bit of leather on there. I just think in comparison to a lot of luxury brands, they are pretty good value, especially for their longevity. And now speaking of longevity, Longchamp even offer a free repair service for things which are prone to happening with these bags for a lot of use, and that is corner holes. You get 1 lot of free corner hole repairs. Next up is UNIQLO bra tops. Now I have 2 variations of these to talk about. This is the winter version, and I bought these based off the fact that I started off toward the start of 2024 buying, or rather as we went into spring summer, I bought the summer version. Now I have some comments on the summer version. I'll get to those in a minute, and I have mentioned some of those points before, but I will reiterate because I'm very passionate about these integrated bra tops. So this one here is one of the winter versions, and because I love the summer one so much, when they brought these out with the integrated heat tech technology, I literally just bought all 3 colours that they came in. So it's this off-whitey cream. What colour have I got on now? I've got on the sort of sludgy, khaki, greeny, browny colour, and they also came in a black. So I bought 1 of each, and I then bought an additional black one because I found that I was wearing that one the most. Now this one here, you might not be able to see from this main camera, but I'll probably do some close-ups in the cutaways. I wanted to share this one because this has had so much use along with the other ones that I also have, and I wanted to share the sort of wear and tear or signs of wear that comes from wearing these a lot, because I don't remember the last time I wore a proper bra. I just reach for them every single day, and that's why they've had so much wear since September up until now, and they will continue to have wear until it gets to the point where it's too warm, and then, to be honest with you, I'll probably switch back to the summer version. So with a lot of wear, they do bubble. Now, for me, this is not even remotely a concern because this I use, as mentioned, as a base layer. So it's never seen. The bubbles are easy to remove with a debobbler, so it's absolutely fine. But I did want to just flag that just in full transparency. They can bubble, they can kind of get this more worn look, but I think that is very much to be expected when someone has worn these items as much as I have. Now, I don't have them out because they are packed away in my summer tubs, but the spring-summer version, these were the first ones that I bought. I had them in a few different styles. So they have a classic racerback style, which were cropped. And this angered some of you. And I can completely understand why, because not everyone wants something that's cropped. And a classic racerback vest is just so... It's not essential, but I think it's so valuable to any spring-summer wardrobe. It's good for layering, especially when it's got a built-in bra inside, because obviously racerback vests have that shape of strap, and so if you wear a normal bra strap, you can very visibly see the bra strap, unless you have a racerback bra or a bra converter. So it's very practical. However, the cropped element of things definitely put a lot of people off. I then had the other style, or the other neckline, which they called halter, but it wasn't actually just a halter that are tied to the back. It just had more of a, again, it was actually quite a racerback style, but the straps were thinner. So I had those as well. Those were also cropped. Now, I am hoping they have started to drop some of these things online, and if you go on the UNIQLO coming soon section, you will see some of the styles that will be available, and it will give you a sort of rough date as to when they're going to be available to purchase. And you can see some of the new integrated bra tops in the spring-summer collection. They're still cropped. I just don't think UNIQLO are listening to us enough. So if you follow UNIQLO on social media, please use your voice and tell them, give that feedback of please make us a full-length version. Now, They do have a full-length version, but it's only in like a strappy camisole, not in the classic racerback style. So if that is something that you would like, customer feedback is incredibly important. Brands do listen some of the time, so be vocal about it if that is something that you would like to see. And then one final note is this winter version was actually a full length, which is why it's quite frustrating that they can't just do a full length vest for the summer version. Right, next on my list is the Adidas, as I call them, Spezial, but many of you Germans have pointed out that it's Spezial. Spezial? Don't know, I might be pronouncing that completely incorrectly, but I think that is something more accurate than Spezial. So these are the handball Spezial trainers from Adidas, which I know on first impression may look very similar to the Sambas. However, they're not. Oh, the Sambas as well, another note I wanted to say, so uncomfortable. I did try a pair on just to see what all the fuss was about. Awful, dreadfully uncomfortable. I've got a friend who's got them and she's like, I've bought 2 pairs now and I find them really uncomfortable, but she likes the fact that they're a trend. So these are so much more comfortable. I tried them on immediately and I was like, yes, these are better. Look very similar on first impression to a Samba. However, they've got a slightly more thicker sole and it's more built up toward the back. So they don't give me that absolutely massive foot clown feet look that I want to avoid. So I bought 2 pairs of these, both in suede, which granted is probably not the most practical fabric to have. If you're the kind of person that doesn't have a plethora of trainers like I do, perhaps you just have 1 pair. Suede is not a option that I would advise going for a single pair of trainers. However, they do also have these in leather versions if it is something that tickles your pickle. Right, next up, something I don't physically have here to hold up, and that is because it is on the bed, and that is brushed cotton bedding. This is new to me. I mean, it's not new. I knew about brushed cotton bedding or flannel bedding, whatever you want to call it. I've always known it's existed, but I have never ever bought any. So we would normally have linen bedding, and it's like wash linen bedding, so it's all nice and soft. It's not hard or scrunchy or whatever. And that's been great. It's especially great during the summer because it's nice and lightweight, it's breathable, so you don't find that you get sweaty in bed. However, when it comes to winter, it doesn't necessarily feel the coziest. So this year, or rather last year, that's the whole point of this video, Emma, last year I bought brushed cotton bedding, and a game changer. Granted, it's not going to be something that we keep on for the entire year, but for these colder months, wow. So good, so cozy, so much warmer. And we do have a electric blanket underneath our fitted sheet, so that heats up the bed for like half an hour, 45 minutes before we get in bed. And then it has an auto or a timer, like an auto shut off at that point. So it does warm up the bed, but I just feel like having the brushed, soft, cozy fabric retains that heat, and yeah, it just makes it feel really nice and cozy. Right, next item I also don't have to hold up, but I will share with you in the cutaways, and that is an air purifier. So this was one of the earlier purchases from 2024. I believe I bought it in either January or February, and it's been great. Now, we bought one just off Amazon, but I had a look through all the reviews. I really read through and sort of looked at all of the specifications and all that kind of stuff, because we wanted one that was going to be suitable not only for smaller areas, because I use it up in my wardrobe to suck up any dust when I'm putting laundry away or when I'm doing a big wardrobe switchover. Very good for sucking up the dust during one of those. But we also wanted to use it in some of our larger spaces. So we have a couple of areas in the house which are deemed as quite large for a UK house because they're open plan. So we needed something that was going to accommodate for those larger spaces and have that larger volume capacity to purify the air of said spaces. So we bought one from a brand called Levoit. I think that's how you pronounce it. And to be honest with you, there's no real bells and whistles on it. The app is very, very simple because it can be controlled via Wi-Fi. It doesn't show you what particles are in the air or anything like that. It just shows you the filter health and how much sort of time or what percentage the filter's at, and you can control it on the app as well. So no bells and whistles, but it does the job. Right, my next item, again, I don't have to hold up because it is another clothing item, and it is specifically a summer clothing item, and it was my Marks and Sparks linen trousers. I loved these. Now, it goes without saying that I love my linen. I think that has been made very obvious over the years. It's very much a go-to fabric of mine throughout the late spring and definitely summer months. I just wear linen religiously. And actually, this point kind of applies to all M&S linen in general, because they've got some really nice shirts as well. But their trousers were a real standout for me from last year. They brought out a few different styles. They had some tailored styles. They had some elasticated waist elasticated waist wide leg styles. They were probably my most worn, and I bought them in about 2 or 3 different colours. And then they also had some tapered styles, some with elasticated waists and some with more of a tailored waist. I loved them all. And then finally, this little guy. This is my Nimbot label maker, because yes, I'm in my label making era. You can tell I'm coming into my 4th decade, can't you? Label making is either your thing or it's not your thing. I love to whack a label on anything. I wasn't always that way inclined, but I am now. I will label the pantry, I labelled the utility, I'll label anything. I will buy a specific glass for olive oil, even though it comes in an olive oil glass, and I will label that, even though it already had a label on. So this little label maker in particular is not only aesthetically pleasing, but comes with, or rather you can purchase a range of different labels. Round, different shapes, rectangular, square, different sizes, but also different colours, including clear if you wanted something a little bit more subtle. Now the labels, they're thermal printed, so they are waterproof and also oil resistant as well. So very good for doing things like utilities where you have cleaning products, if you want that kind of thing on jars or boxes or whatever it may be. And also very good for the kitchen as well, pantry things, oils, for example, are a good option. And this you use in conjunction with the Nimbot app to design your labels. The app, granted, is a little bit tricky to get the hang of at first because it is an Asian app. I think it might be Chinese, and so it's all a little bit unusual. But once you get the hang of it, it's then quite easy to do, and you can just basically design your own labels for whatever you like. There's little bits of clip art and graphics on there that you can add, borders, lines, lots of different fonts. And yeah, I just think it's a great time. I will always have a great time when I whip this bad boy out. Right, okay, so those were my top 10 purchases of 2024. If you would like to see maybe 10 purchases that I regret from 2024, then do let me know down in the comments section below. Also, just a reminder, down in the description box are those details for the offer and discount code for the UFO 3 from FOREO Sweden, if that's something you're interested in. But for now, that is it from me. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time.